Articles of Association. First, let's see the meaning of Articles of Association. Articles of Association or AOA contains rules, regulations, and bylaws to govern the internal management of company and the conduct of its business and how objects of company are to be executed. Okay, so the articles contains rules, regulations, bylaws through which the internal management of the company is to be governed. Okay, and how the company should conduct its business and how the objects of the company are to be executed. Okay, so articles contains rules regarding these. Members have full control over them. Okay, members have full control over the articles. They can alter them by resolution, but the alteration or change should be within limits defined by Memorandum of Association. Okay, the Memorandum of Association provides the scope and power of the company. Okay, you cannot change the articles by going beyond the memorandum, by going beyond the power given by the memorandum. Articles are second in importance after the memorandum. Okay, the articles are subordinate to and controlled by the memorandum. In case of conflict, the Memorandum of Association will prevail. Suppose there are articles and there are memorandum. If there is a conflict between article and memorandum regarding any rule, then in that case the memorandum will prevail. Okay, but if the memorandum is ambiguous or silent on an issue, in that case the articles can be used to resolve. Okay, if on an issue the memorandum is silent or is ambiguous, okay, in that case the articles can be used to resolve that issue. Now see the definition given in company law. The definition is given in section 2 clause 5, that articles means articles of association as originally framed or as altered from time to time or applied in pursuance of any previous company law or of this act. Okay, so articles means articles of association as they were originally framed or changed from time to time in accordance with the any previous company law or of this act, this company's law. Okay, there is an important case law, Ashbury Railway Carriage and Iron Company Limited versus Rish 1875. In this case, Lord Keynes said that articles play subsidiary part to memorandum. Articles accept memorandum as charter of incorporation of a company. Okay, the articles accept the supremacy of memorandum. So articles proceed to define duties, rights, powers of governing body as between themselves and company at large. Okay, the article define the duties, rights, and powers of any governing body between that governing body and the company at large. Okay, what are the powers and duties and rights of the governing body in relation to the company. Articles also provide the mode and form in which the company is to be carried on. Okay, and also the mode and form in which changes in these rules and regulations can be made. Okay, articles provide these modes and forms. Now see about the registration of articles. It is given in section 7. Companies limited by shares, okay, in which the members liability is limited by their shares. In those companies, if we do not register the articles, it means if not registered article of association, then table A of schedule 1 will automatically apply. Okay, there is a table called table A. It is given in schedule 1 of the companies act. Okay, in the if we do not register the articles, then in that condition the rules and regulations given in table A, they will be applied as articles. Okay, they will be taken as articles. If we register the articles, in that condition table A applies except insofar excludes by articles. If not excluded a regulation of table A either expressly or by implication, it will be deemed to have incorporated in its articles. So okay, suppose if we register the articles, in that condition if the article excludes any rule or provision of table, okay, either directly, expressly, or indirectly by implication, then that rule will be excluded. Okay, if it does not exclude any rule of the table, then in that condition, that rule or provision of the table will be deemed to have been incorporated in the article. Okay, if you have to exclude any rule, then you have to exclude the rule in the article expressly or by implication. If you are not excluding it, then it will be deemed to be incorporated or to be included in the article. In case of private company, the articles must incorporate these three restrictions. Okay, these three restrictions must be included in the articles of a private company. What are these? Restrict right to transfer its shares if any. Okay, limit number of members to 200 except in case of one person company. One person company, there is only one member. One person company is also a private company. Okay, except one person company, the private company has maximum 200 members. The third restriction which should be included in articles of a private company is that it should prohibit invitation to public to subscribe to its shares or debentures. Okay, the private company cannot invite public to subscribe to its shares. In case of unlimited company, the articles must state number of members with which company is to be registered. If the company is having share capital, in that condition the article must state the amount of share capital with which it is to be registered. This is in unlimited companies. What is the form of articles? Section 7 clause A says that if articles of association is to be registered, it must be printed, it must be divided into paragraphs, there must be numbering, it must be numbered and signed by the subscribers. It should be done in presence of minimum one witness. This was the form of articles. What are the penalties? If after incorporation, okay, after registration, any false or incorrect information is found in articles, in that condition the company and persons who made that false or incorrect information, they will be liable for action under section 447, and the punishment is given in under section 448. The punishment is imprisonment from 6 months to 10 years and fine up to 3 times the amount involved. This was penalty. Now let's see what are the contents of articles of association. First is how much the table A is excluded, exclusion of table A, whether all the table A has been excluded, whole table A has been excluded, or some part of it has been excluded. Next is the approval of preliminary contracts, and the other content is other rules regarding capital rights and their variations, also conditions under which shares are to be issued, and the rules regarding allotment of shares, calls on shares, lien held by a company upon shares in respect of unpaid amounts thereon. The rules regarding all these are written in article, are given in article. The rules regarding transfer and transmission of shares, forfeiture of shares, alteration of share capital, the rules regarding share certificate, conversion of shares into stocks, voting rights and proxies, meetings, rules regarding directors, their appointment, qualification, their remuneration, powers, duties, etc. Rules regarding secretary, his appointment and remuneration. The rules regarding borrowing powers, rules regarding dividends and reserves, audit and account, rules regarding winding up, powers of liquidator to deal with the assets, and indemnification or compensation of officers out of the assets of the company. So the articles, rules and regulations regarding all these are given. This is the content of articles. Now see the restrictions. What cannot be done in articles? The any provision of article must not contravene, okay, must not oppose, must not be in conflict with any provision of Companies Act 2013 or any provision of general law. Okay, the rules and regulations given in articles, they should not contravene, they should not be in conflict with, they should not oppose any rules or regulation of company act or of general law. The articles must not contain anything which alters or extends terms of memorandum of association. Okay, the article should not contain anything which can alter or change or extend the terms of the memorandum. So these were the restrictions which should be kept in mind while framing the articles. So this was articles of association. Next, see difference between memorandum of association and articles of association. So memorandum of association, memorandum are fundamental conditions and objects for which company is incorporated. Okay, so in memorandum of association, the fundamental conditions and objects for which company is incorporated, these are given in memorandum. In articles, the rules and regulations for internal management of company, they are given. Okay, in articles, the rules regarding internal management are given. In memorandum, the memorandum determines the scope, extent, and objects of activities of a company. Okay, the memorandum determines that what is the scope of the activities, what is the extent of the activities of the company, what are the objects of the activities of the company. The articles, they are the bylaws which prescribe rules by which management is to be carried on. Okay, the articles provide the laws which prescribe rules by which management is to be carried on. Every joint stock company must get its memorandum registered. Okay, in case of articles, the registration can be avoided. In that condition, table A will be adopted. Okay, for altering or changing memorandum, there must be a special resolution as well as confirmation by tribunal. If you want to change the articles, only special resolution is sufficient, there is no need to have confirmation from tribunal. Okay, acts done beyond memorandum, okay, beyond the scope of memorandum, they cannot be ratified. Okay, the members or shareholders, they cannot ratify it. But if the any act is being done beyond the scope of articles, it can be ratified by the shareholders. Okay, the memorandum should not cannot include any clause contrary to companies act. Okay, the memorandum cannot include any clause which is contrary to opposing the companies act or in contravention with companies act. The articles of association, it cannot include any clause which is contrary to companies act and memorandum of association. Okay, so these were the differences between memorandum of association and articles of association. If you want this PDF for revision purposes, then you can get the download link from the description box or the comment box. Next topic will be prospectus, which we will cover in next video.